Item 10B, adopt a resolution approving cable television service rates effective September 1st, 2015.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. Staff is here this evening to recommend for your consideration a rate adjustment for select cable services. You have before you the staff report, which details my presentation, and the subcommittee has also been advised and commented on proposals in an earlier meeting in June. The last rate increase for cable services and products was in July of 2011. However, in the last few years, previous operating revenues have exceeded operating expenditures, and with an aggressive competitor climate, rate increases were not implemented. As such, San Bruno Cable continues to deliver its services at the lowest rates with high-quality customer service at the office and in customers' homes, and we do provide the free service calls. The industry as a whole continues to experience TV programming cost increases. Those haven't stopped. Though as some customers migrate away from standard video packages to internet-only delivered services, those increases are partially offset. In addition, programming fees are paid to the networks for almost every channel San Bruno Cable carries, and these fees make up about 37% of our budget. The limited basic platform, that's the channels 1 through 26, our lowest level of service, was considered for a rate increase because we added Coffee TV this last year, and we had retransmission fees for 2 other networks. But it was a rate increase deliberately avoided and not recommended for that lowest tier of service. So the rate remains at the current rate, and it is just below Astound and well below Comcast for those 26 channels. The expanded basic level of service has enjoyed 6 TV channels, new TV channels to that level of service in the last couple of years. They were either added or migrated to expanded basic platform due to contractual obligations or to add more value to the expanded basic platform. The department is recommending a modest $3.03 increase for this service. With this increase, San Bruno Cable's expanded basic cable rate continues to be priced under Comcast by about 20%, as determined by the annual rate survey in the staff report. The comparison for similar channels delivered by satellite, Astound, and AT&T is also provided in the staff report and indicates that San Bruno Cable's video packages and regular rates will continue to remain lower or comparable to the other local service providers. Because of the 4 channels removed from DigiBasic, that's the 3rd tier of our video service, the cost increases were offset for that level of service, and we're not recommending a rate increase for that. High-definition converter boxes and cable card subscriptions continue to grow. The department needs to maintain inventory for both new subscriptions, but also for replacement of boxes as needed or requested by customers. These costs are now being captured from the capital improvement budget, now being captured in our operating budget. So we are recommending a $1 increase per box for the HD level of service. That would take the cost with the franchise fee to $9.40, and as the comparisons show, other services, other providers charge at least $10 or more for that same level of service. Some enhancements we would like to, that will go along with this rate increase, will be over-the-top services. I've spoken about this at a study session and at the budget study session as well. And these are the ability to watch video services on your mobile device. And with the internet, you'll hear about in a second that the internet increases that we're going to be doing, we'll be able to do that, and it's already budgeted. So we'll be able to offer that as part of this upgrade. 6 years ago, San Bruno Cable led the way in the Bay Area by offering a complete digital system before any other cable providers in the Bay Area. Part of this effort included utilizing technology to offer commercial internet services with 100 megabits per second up and down, and residential services up to 50 megabits per second. That was then. Today, 25 megabits per second is the standard. And that's because it has to meet the bandwidth has to meet the needs of the video viewing that most customers are using now. So as part of the rate increase for internet services, we're recommending we will upgrade the existing 16 megabits per second service to 35, more than doubling the speed for level 1 customers. The department will also continue to offer the 50 megabits per second service that other providers offer, and we will reduce the price point that we're offering at to match Comcast, the other provider in the area, for that speed. The significant investments in network infrastructure replacement and upgrades is the reason for the larger increase on the internet products. We're asking for a $5.45 increase for internet service. However, again, the total rate will remain well below other providers for their most penetrated tier. As you know, the department is currently working on a major upgrade to the internet service. Just an update, I spoke to Al this morning, and we will be migrating several nodes, several hundreds of users over on Thursday this week, Thursday night. And we plan next week, once that's successful, plan next week to migrate the rest of the folks over to the new platform. So we should see an increase in performance, and then when the rate increase comes in place, we will increase the modems to capture that speed as well. The Cable Subcommittee met in June to review the proposed increases for internet and video services, and if approved, the rate increase proposed new service rates would take effect on September 1st. As required by law, a 30-day rate increase notice would be delivered in the July bills, 30 days prior to the the August bills. The rate increase information will also be posted on the website and on Channel 1. While rate increases are a necessary part of doing business, no one likes them, it has been 3 years since we've done a rate increase for the subscribers of San Bruno Cable. We do our best, and along with the subcommittee, we do our best to maintain the lowest rates as we've been charged to do in the area, and that is what we're giving you tonight. Also, any downgrade fees that would be applied normally to someone leaving video service and going to internet would not be applied during the 60 days after we send the letter. So they would be, and that's a requirement by the FCC. That concludes my presentation. Al and I are happy to answer any questions you have regarding this rate increase.
Any questions for Steve or Al this time? Michael?
Through the chair, thank you. I think you guys are doing a great job, and I commend you on keeping the prices contained and staying competitive. I know it's definitely hard to do, competing with much larger organizations. My only comment was, well, it's more of a request, is that we defer this particular action until after we have that study session that I had recommended earlier, because I think that discussion may have an impact on what we're doing with our rates. So, just a thought.
Speaking of study sessions, during the budget session, we were all concerned to get on top of things with cable, and so is that the study session we'd want also? Or?
Well, yeah, there were a number of issues that I thought could impact our budget overall, and I think overall I want to look at big picture cable overall before we lock into rather than have to do another rate adjustment. And like I said, I think you guys did a great job of containing this, but if after that discussion say that we want to do something maybe a little bit more aggressive to try to get caught up, otherwise I'd rather do it once than have to do it again.
One concern is that it's going to take us a while to actually implement the rate increase with the billing system that we have, and the fact that we're going to move folks into packages if they're not in packages to the promotional rates. So when we do that, it's going to take a bit of time to do that, so that's why we've moved it out 60 days from now, till September 1st to implement it. So if we have a study session within 3 weeks or 4 weeks, we may have to move it out again. So that's a concern that I have.
So that's the only downside, and we're happy to accommodate that. I think it's actually, there's some merit to the idea. We've deliberately, staff identified earlier on that 30 days is too short, 60 days is comfortable. We would do our best to squash that time period for implementation of the rate to the lowest amount, and then accommodate if it's the council's interest, we can certainly accommodate the interest to have the study session first. It's council's pleasure.
Okay. Irene, did you have something?
After listening to your comments, what would be the soonest that we could do a study session?
We're looking at approximately 3 weeks.
Okay. I'm torn. I'm with Michael. I don't want to do it twice if we decide to do a more aggressive program, yet I don't want to delay it more than necessary, so.
Yeah, we waited an awful long time to get this far. I mean, we haven't had any rate increases since, 4 years?
3 years, yes.
Yeah.
4 years. So
Correct.
I guess in the bigger picture, 3 weeks is not going to make a whole lot of difference, but I think, as a subcommittee member, we studied this pretty thoroughly, and I'd sure like to get this done, even if it means having another go-around at a later date. So,
Well, can we not do just a study session? Can it be a study session with decisions made at that time? Because I know often we do a study session, then we have to wait 2 more weeks before we do a council meeting. So if we do an agendized study session decision-making time, maybe that would accommodate everybody.
We can certainly agenda a meeting in a manner to accommodate that.
Is that,
I just think at that time, we better have all our facts and figures ready, so if we're going to make a decision, we don't have to think a whole lot about it. So maybe we can look at a couple of different scenarios.
yeah, and
All
make
right.
this decision then and then go forward the next day,
All right.
or however.
Rico, you have a comment?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I know the subcommittee has met and up to speed as was indicated in the report. So I know we were talking about 3 weeks, and I was trying to understand if we've got the data, we've got some of the information. I understand there's a more global picture we need to look at, but and we've just had the budget. So I'm wondering, do we need to wait 3 weeks, or is there something we can accomplish by having this meeting and our action, if necessary, sooner?
I understood Councilmember Salazar to be requesting a broader discussion,
Correct.
and that if you want to have a discussion sooner than that, simply on the rates, we can certainly produce that information. It will be difficult. Staff can't guarantee that we can produce the information that would accommodate the broader discussion substantially sooner than what I've previously outlined.
Okay.
Through the chair,
Yeah.
I'm all in favor in discussing this further, but I'm looking at this rate increase that we haven't had in 4 years, and I think it's palatable. It's a good. It's not something that's going to, really surprise people. I'm not sure what my colleagues are thinking about as far as a more aggressive proposal. I think, looking at this proposal, I think we're there, and I think that if we get more aggressive, might be some objections to that. I think what you've planned out as far as how you're going to deal with internet and the improvements and the enhancements, that's fine for now. If the council feels that we need to move forward on a more aggressive, and we can discuss that for next year. I think this is a good step for something that we haven't done for 4 years. So as much as I'm in favor of discussing it more, I'd like to move forward with this proposal. I might be a lone vote, though.
Okay. Let me ask you, Steve, if we were to approve this the way it is this evening, and we met again in, say, 3 weeks, would it be 1 step forward and 2 steps back if we wanted to do something more aggressive at that time? Would we have to undo what we put in place this evening?
Yes, you would. You would have to undo it. And I think also, there is a process of which, when we work with this billing system, and since we're doing there's a lot of work this time, normally rate increases, you can just change the rate and it goes across the board, not a problem. But we're going to put a lot of folks into that. We're going to start that process now, but I'm concerned about putting this off, because I'm going to be working with the billing company. I'm going to give them the rates. I'm going to tell them this is what we need to put in. This is what they need to come out. The rates need to be when their franchise fees is included, and they're going to start that work, as soon as I can get them to start that. So if I have to change that, it may just throw it off a bit, but I could work with them to do that.
through the chair.
Irene?
Thank you. I don't have a brilliant solution, but I just want to make a comment. Some of the things that are a concern, and we expressed it at the subcommittee level, were the capital problems that we need to address, and that's what Vice Mayor Salazar and I were discussing. So it sounds like there's 3 votes at least to go forward with this, and having talked to finance people at an earlier time, it's like moving the Titanic. You know, once you head in that direction, it's harder to move it away than to go back. So if we go forward with this rate increase, unless you guys want to discuss a higher rate increase, we can do that. No? Okay. So
Well, I
moving
don't think
right
it's about a
along.
rate increase or not. I think what the vice mayor is trying to say is we need to look at it globally, not just so granularly about this. And I think, and that's why you were talking about the enhancements, that there's a bigger picture out there that needs to be addressed fully and clearly.
Yes, and that's the roundabout way I was getting to. What may not be obvious from the staff report and what we did and did not say is there are other venues to address the capital structural budget. So, and they're not part of this because this is a rate increase report. So if we go forward with this, it doesn't preclude us from looking at other solutions toward the capital improvement part.
That's correct, yeah.
So maybe that's what needed to be said earlier. So, having said all those things and recognizing what...
Does that help you, Mr. Vice Mayor?
My only concern is that, and I'm fine with moving forward with this, it's just that if we make this decision tonight, it kind of takes it takes something off the table that might have been another mechanism for helping address the capital issue. But I don't know that we could have addressed it with just a rate increase anyway. So, with understanding that and understanding the other constraints, I'd be okay with moving forward.
Okay.
Okay. So, having said that, unless the city manager wants to make another comment, I'll introduce the resolution.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Aye.
Councilmember Medina.
Aye.
Councilmember Ibarra.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Salazar.
Aye.
Mayor Ruane.
Aye.